definitions of project management, what is exactly the project management, we will see in coming slides. But the projects or the project management is to build something, to develop something, realize the concepts and dreams, make the things on the ground, let them be visible. So it has a detailed concept or detailed journey or life cycle journey of development. You can see in the picture, there is one of the longest rail bridge or a river in one part of India. So these are just an example of project management. So the theme for today's session will be understand project management basics to build your dream. So that is our theme for today's session 1 of project management, and we'll continue on this. Project management is as old as humanity. If you go to the historical era across the globe, you will find big structures, small structures, civilization in the life were already existing for many past years, for many centuries historically. And all these have been realized successfully with the concept in modern management. What we discuss is project management. And we will see the real understanding on project management history by just looking at this table. Olympic Games for many years before, Great Wall of China, how many resources, how many manpowers, how much of money was invested, and these things have been realized in a particular time duration. Old forts and structures in India, Panama Canal, even the COVID vaccine delivering in time, saving the humanity. Mission Mars, reaching to Mars, making Burj Khalifa, making the steel plants, cement plants, satellite space stations. So all these things are done with an objective to have something on reality on the ground in given time and given money and in a given scope or the quality we want like this. A Burj Khalifa, when it is made, it's not like that they started making the Burj Khalifa and then decided, let's see how much height it can reach. No. The height, what Burj Khalifa has to be made, the design was frozen before the construction starts. So it's a scientific approach. It's a planning approach. You are able to see a picture on screen now. And what is this? This is a railway bridge located in Jammu and Kashmir state of India. And this bridge is almost 359 meters height from the river water level. which is almost 35 meters more than the height of Eiffel Tower. This bridge is the highest railway bridge in the world. That is point number one. The bridge construction is already completed. The trials are going on, testings are going on, and in some times this bridge will be operational. So these are the unique examples of project management. This is the scale of project management. You may have to do a high scale things with the help of project management. Even if there is a small things, small plants, small projects, small services, still it requires project management, because it will give you a scientific technical approach. It will give you a management approach to complete the things in the right way by utilizing the right methodologies, right practices. What will be these right practices? What are the right management concepts? All these things we are going to see in our basic session coming in the next slides. But this is just to trigger a concept of project management so that we can open up for our session in the next coming slides. A very basic understanding of project management. We'll go with very basic definitions with example understanding, so that when the detailed sessions comes subsequently, the concept is already in the basics are already in place. Project management includes proven traditional practices widely applied. If you are making the roads, you have some proven traditional practices to use or are applied to make the roads. You are constructing buildings, you have proven traditional practices. So that you repeat whenever you are making another new building, you are using these practices, traditional practices, which are proven, time tested, which has an acceptance. And in addition to that, every time when you construct or every time when you build up a new things, there is always an innovation takes place, an improvement takes place. So those innovations are also added when you construct the next block. So the project management basically includes proven traditional practices and the innovative practices which are gained in every life cycle of a project, and the combination of two is transferred for the next project. So it's a dynamic profession, adopting practices, traditional practices, and the innovative practices. Another terminology, generally recognized as good practice. And what is the meaning of this? So we'll split this word into generally recognized and good practice. Generally recognized means the knowledge and practices described as or described are applicable to most projects most of the time, and there is a consensus about their value and usefulness. There are certain practices which are generally recognized that you can do it like this. And why you can do it like this? Because these are time tested. They are traditional and they are applicable to most of the projects. And their value and their usefulness is already proven. That is called generally recognized. When what is a good practice? Good practice means there is general agreement that the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project management processes can enhance the chance of success in delivering the expected business value and results. That means good practices includes the set of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques. They are imbibed, they are predefined in the inclusion into the project management practices, and that makes it a good practice. So that is called generally recognized as good practice. Outcomes of projects, the result, okay, where the results of leaders and managers applying project management practices, principles, processes, tools, and techniques to their work. It is called the concept of getting the result from the project management, where the project manager, whatever the standard project management practices and principles and processes at organizational level, at a global level, or at the state level, or the regional level, which are considered to be generally recognized as a good practices, traditional practices are there. They apply those tools, they apply those processes, and the outcomes is achieved. The managers use a set of key skills and applied knowledge to satisfy their customers and other people involved in and affected by the project. This is a very big statement. The managers used a set of key skills and applied knowledge to satisfy their customer and other people involved in the and affected by the project. A simple example, a flyover need to be built up. So generally the governmental organization, public works department, they will award a contract to a contractor who is capable to do this job, correct? And the PWD, Public Works Department engineer, who is a project manager for this project, will follow this project with the contractor. So that PWD contractor and PWD relationship is customer. So PWD is a customer or a client to that PWD contractor who's going to make the bridge. But at the same time, when the bridge is made, that flyover is made, it is not only which is going to be used by PWD, it is used by the society, the community. So while making the bridge, all the affected parties should also need to be satisfied. If you need a 6-lane flyover, considering the traffic density of that area, and you miss that concept, and you made it only 4-lane flyover, that flyover will see a traffic jam from the day it starts operating. That means you have missed, or you could not able to consider the expectation of affected stakeholders. That's why the involvement, the manager has to apply his skill set, apply knowledge, so that the complete customer satisfaction and all other peoples, all other stakeholders who will be affected by that bridge or that flyover should be satisfied, or their expectations are met. This is something which is very basics of the management. We have repeated in our previous slide, we have a couple of times the name of project manager came. So let's understand what is a project manager actually, because that makes a good sense to understand about the subsequent slides. So the project manager, I will read it and then I will explain it. Project manager works with the project team and other stakeholders. Project team means a team which works on that project, which makes that concept realize on the ground. And other stakeholders. Other stakeholders could be user, other stakeholder could be finance, who will be funding the project, investors who will be investing the money, commercial teams, human resource team, correct? So these are all other stakeholders, governmental agencies. We'll see the list of stakeholders in the project management. So project manager works with project team and other stakeholders. Let me just give a tweak to you guys at this point of time, that we are going to have a great session, a good session, a deep, thorough session on project managers profiling and project managers expectations. So this is just to trigger the concept here right now about the project manager. So he is going to work with project team and other stakeholders to determine and use the appropriate generally recognized good practices for each project. He will collaborate and he will see what are the best practices are there, what are the good things to do for this project, what are the good practices to be followed in this project, what are the methodologies need to be followed in this project. And he will determine, once there are recognized good practices are listed, then at the same time determining the appropriate combination of processes, inputs, tools, techniques, outputs, and life cycle phases to manage a project. So now he will make his bucket list ready for that project. What are the inputs required for this project? What are the tools will be required to operate this? What are the techniques will be applied? What will be the expected outputs will be there, correct? And how the life cycle of the project, concept to start operations, life cycle, imagining the project and realizing the project. So how this life cycle will be managed, correct? So after considering all these things, there could be many tools available. There are many techniques available, correct? But the project manager will tailor. Everything is not applicable probably to your project. If you are making a cement plant or if you are making a flyover, the tools and techniques are different for both of them. And even if you are making a flyover, and if you are making the flyovers with huge length, high scale, high numbers, and similarly you are making a small scale flyovers, at that time also the tools and techniques, even the resource requirement will change. The modalities of project management will change. So that is called tailoring of everything for the particular project. And that is what the project manager does. With alignment with the team and all the stakeholders, he identifies the good practices applicable for the project, and then the resource, techniques specifically required for the project. So this is how he prepares, because he is the person who is responsible for project management. So this is how the project manager is broadly defined in the disruptive type of project management practices, waterfall project management practices. The code of ethics and professional conduct affirms 4 values as foundation. These are already described in PMBOK, Project Management of Book of Knowledge. And the most important thing is that these are considered to be very essential and critical values in the project management as well as in general business management. They are essentially required for success of the project. And not only success of one project, they are required for sustainable performance of the project organizations. And what are those 4 values? Responsibility, fairness, honesty, and respect. Responsibility means ownership. You take the responsibility. You don't say that I just sent the email and I'm awaiting the response. I have not received the response so far. But if that email response is required to you next 1 hour, you have to ensure by talking to the respective stakeholders that I need this thing. This is essentially required for me. So feel the ownership. Not feeling the ownership is one of the big reasons for the failure of the project in the industry. It's not robotics. It's a feel of ownership. It's understanding, taking the ownership of the project. And specifically assigned tasks with overall umbrella. Respect. Respect your assigned job. Respect your stakeholders. Respect your value proposition. Respect your colleagues. Respect your subordinates. Respect your boss. Ultimately, respect what you are doing, what are around you. That always maintain a big value addition in the project management life cycle. Respecting your profession, respecting your task, and respecting all the stakeholders around you. Fairness. Always be fair. Be clear. The cycles, you may commit some errors. Don't do it intentionally. Unintentionally, error may happen. Unintentional mistakes may happen. Be honest in expressing those mistakes. Be honest in admitting those mistakes, because that will be a cycle of improvisation will happen. But fairness and honesty is very essential what you are doing. You are committed to what you are doing. You are honest what you are doing. You are fair enough to express everything what you're doing. So these four values are the most importantly considered even by PMI, project management institutions, and the best practices of the project management. They are called, they are values for foundation. They make the foundation of project management. We'll take just a quick pause here. Now, what is a project actually? We learned the project manager, and now what is a project actually? This is a very clear-cut definition, widely known in industry, which is called a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, services, or result. So that means when I say a temporary endeavor, that means it is not an open-ended activity. If you have a project to construct a steel plant, so you may be constructing that plant in 2 years, 3 years duration, whatever time you want to do it. So it is a temporary endeavor. Once you build that plant, the plant is in operation maybe for next 20 years, 30 years, that's a different issue. But that is an operational life cycle. That is not the project life cycle. So the project is to build or construct a plant of steel. So it's a temporary endeavor. And it is made to realize something on the ground with a clear objective. So I want to build a steel plant having a production capacity of 20,000 tons per day or 10,000 tons per day, or whatever X capacity you want to consider. So that is a unique product. I want to create some 2-3 product range which are not available in my region. And I want to make a plant to manufacture that steel, particular steel. So it could be a normal steel, it could be a specialized steel. So it's a unique product I'm trying to create. Or any services. If it is not the plant, I'm putting any service business. It could be supply chain service businesses. It could be last mile deliveries, any service model. Or I want to create a result. I want to migrate my company from location A to location B, not physical, means from the present state to the next state. So I will improvising my results. So I have not created any plant here, but I'm taking an effort to improvise my factory, to improvise my operational strategies, to add a project, to do an improvisation towards organizational setup, improvising the IT practices of the organization, human resource practices of the organization, to get a better result out of it, to get a better result and better performance of your organization. So that project is giving you a great result, improvising in your practices. So the project is a temporary endeavor with a specific objective to be delivered. Now, little more understand about this unique product, service, or result. I just explained it, but let's revisit this point here. Projects are undertaken to fulfill objectives by producing deliverables. Every company has the objective, and those objectives will be met by producing the required deliverables. Correct? Say, for example, today you are in your region, you are the cement producer and you are having a 20% market share. Now you have an objective to be holding more than 50% market share in next 3 years or next 5 years. So for that, you will increase your manufacturing facilities within your region or anywhere in the world. But your objective is very clear. You want to increase your market share from 20% to 50%. You want to be lead supplier, lead manufacturer. So for that, you will be doing a production increase by 50%. And not only production increase, your marketing team will work on that to sell your product more in the market, to your advertise team will work on that, correct? So it's a collaborative journey. But objective is clear, and for that objective, you will have to require to produce the deliverables. Otherwise, just keeping the objective without supported by the deliverables has no meaning. An objective is defined as an outcome toward which work is to be directed. 50% market share, okay? So work is now directing toward that objective. A strategic position to be attained, 50% is the strategic position. A purpose to be achieved, I want to be a great supplier. I want to increase my financial revenues. I want to be having a greater market cap. A result to be obtained, a product to be produced. You are going to produce definitely when you want to increase, you want to have a 50% market share, you have to increase your production more, or any services if required for that. Okay. So that is an objective, is an outcome towards which whole work is to be directed. Everybody will work. The whole organization will synthesize. They will be synchronized towards the objective. They're all actions, their project management practices will be towards the objective, to support the objective. A deliverable is defined as any unique and verifiable product. Very important. A unique product, okay? Unique means it could be the same product, but it becomes even unique because that deliverable is giving you a change in your market position. Okay. And verifiable, visible clearly. You can verify the product or a result. As I told you, if our organization wants to have the better communication skills, to have the better supply chain improvisation, to have a better supply chain links, to improvise the last mile delivery, they may include supply chain management softwares. They can improvise their IT softwares. They can induct Internet of Things. Correct. So these are all things which need to be added to the business processes, resulting into the improvised result. That means previously your last mile delivery was 5 days. After adding all these things in your business processes, your last mile delivery average time has reduced from 5 days to 3 days. Great achievement. You are reaching faster than your competitor in the market. or a capability to perform a service that is required to be produced to complete a process, phase, or project. There are some things, a unique product what we see. So that is the final output what is visible to us on surface. But before that, there will be many processes in between which are linked to each other. We'll see in the subsequent sessions on that, correct? So there will be a chain reaction. There will be a chain correction. So they are linked to each other, and those linkages will be delivered into a form of tangible or intangible deliverables during the process. These deliverables could be intermediate deliverables. The deliverable could be a final deliverables. But ultimately, when we talk of the final deliverables, which is the expected production, expected results, or expected services, or the objective to support that. Fulfillment of project objectives may produce one or more of the following deliverables. When you want to fulfill your project objective, correct? So what is that? And what is that deliverable which will be produced to meet the project objective? A unique product, either a component of another item, an enhanced or correction to an item, or a new end item itself. Very clear by the definition. A unique service or a capability to perform a service. We were not doing the great service to our customers, but by putting the IT infrastructure, by putting the Internet of Things, I'm able to reach my customer quickly. I'm able to meet their expectation in better way. I'm improvising our quality services. So this is a unique service. A unique result, such as an outcome of a document, a research project that develops knowledge that can be used to determine whether a trend exists or a new process will benefit society. Means there will be a research work that is also deliverables. Supply chain was one of the practical examples. In addition to supply chain, there is an example of results, research work, and the result of those research work will improvise for your existing processes, or they will identify a new add-ons to your processes. So those unique results are very essential in the project management. That is what called the innovation in the project management, or innovative practices, what we saw in the previous slides. Or a unique combination of one or more products, services, or results. So this is how the project objectives, project deliverables are driving towards the unique product, services, or results, or the baseline for them. This is a very important thing. Repetitive elements may be present in some project deliverables and activity. There will be some repetitions. This repetition does not change the fundamental unique characteristics of the project. Repetitions will be there. If you are making one building, you are making one road. Second time you are making another road, correct? It's a repetition. Deliverable is what? A road. Simple. Activities are also common. But we have to understand one phenomenon. One road you are making on the hilltop at the height of maybe 5,000 meters or 3,000 meters. And one road you are making at the plain grounds. Ultimately, you are making roads at both places. But making a road at hill, 3,000, 5,000 meter height, location is changed. environmental conditions are change, resource movement might change. So that's why even though there is a repetitive nature of job, still the conditions, surroundings, locations, and even if it is the same location, still it requires a dedicated, specific values, specific conditions fit for that particular project. So that's why this variance, this condition makes every project a unique. You cannot just make a road at 5,000 feet height in the mountains with the same practices you follow in the plains. Definitely, it's not that all will not be repeated. It's not like that. But in total, repetition is not possible because skill sets will be different. But end product is road. That's why this is called, the repetitiveness is there, but still there will be a different unique characteristics has to be added on case to case basis, project to project basis. Projects are undertaken at all organizational levels. A project can involve a single individual or a group. See, in general, these projects are taken by the organization. So we'll construct a plant. I think that is the most easy example to understand and visualize the concept, correct? So in that case, a project can be involved by a group, but it is an organizational approach. It could be by the organization which need that project at the same time, but they don't have a capability. So they may have to involve another company, another agencies, another contracting companies, another construction companies to make that work for them. Correct. So this is how the project management really works at organization level, with the help of collaborations between the organizations and a capability of organization. The organization is able to do that project. Does the organization has a funds right now, or they need a funding from banks, or they need some institutional funding? So that's why when organization decided to do a project, that project need to be undertaken with the help of support of multiple organizations and multiple stakeholders. Even, for example, merging two organizations, building or improvising existing organizational processes, exploring oil and gas in the region, correct? Or building a new refinery. A research work for new manufacturing process. There are many researches are going on in the world to have the manufacturing processes with reduced carbon footprints. Manufacturing processes with essentially having the recycling as a part of reducing the carbon footprint. So that is a research work for improvising for new manufacturing processes, or constructing a new plant altogether. So this is how a wide range and wide wings of project managements are there to provide a growth curve or to provide a growth solution. This is very important. As in the beginning I said, that this is not a long time effort. It is a defined time scale activity. Project management is a defined time scale activity. That's why it is called temporary. It's a temporary endeavor. The temporary nature of projects indicates that a project has a definite beginning and end. Temporary does not mean a project has a short duration. Yeah, that's the most important thing. When I use the word temporary, it does not mean a short duration. End and start. Start and end is sure. It could be 1 year, it could be 3 months, it could be 3 years. But it's temporary because nobody wants to keep constructing the Burj Khalifa for 100 years. You construct in 4 years, open it for all the stakeholders, businesses, visitors, tourists, everything. The end of the project is reached when one or more of the following is true. That's another very important thing which I would like to emphasize right now. How you define project is completed. So basically you will say very simply that what we expected, we are getting it out of that project. We wanted 100 kilometers of road, 100 kilometers of road is done. Job is, our objective is achieved. Objective was to connect two cities. And for that connectivity, we wanted to what? We wanted to make a road, 100-kilometer road to connect that city. So objective was to connect both the cities because they're industrial hub and they need a connectivity, correct? And to fulfill that objective, we were supposed to make 6-lane or 8-lane roads, a special corridor for freight because there were industrial hubs. Correct? Now, so we met an objective. Second scenario is even project is considered like the cycle that duration is we reach the project end. So it is not that you always achieve an objective. The objective will not or cannot be met. That terrain is so bad. Okay, it has a lot of different problems. You cannot construct a road in that terrain. So objective cannot be met. Funding is exhausted or no longer available for allocation of the project. There are many projects in the world which gets delayed because the funding for the project is not there. You start with some part funding, but you need a phasing of the funding. If you require 100 million and that 100 million is required in the next 3 years, but you start the business with an assumption that you're going to get funds from bank because you have only 20 million with you, 80 million you're going to arrange from the investors and stakeholders and the bank loan, but you're not getting bank loans, you're not getting investors. The need for the project no longer exists. The objective was to connect two cities. But what happened now? The one city has now stopped working anymore on that manufacturing hubs concept. That concept has migrated to another city. So the project is not required at all. Why should we connect these two cities now? The requirement does not exist now. Of course, you have to make for human transportation and everything, that's a different issue. But the objective was to connect the industrial hubs. The human or physical resources are no longer available. This is also another reason. I just gave the example of two cities on the higher level, but other points like human and physical resources are not available. This could differ your project. Means if you wanted to complete the project in 4 years, but because of lack of fund, lack of human resources or the physical resources, project got delayed. Project got delayed by extraordinary delayed. Project is terminated for legal cause or convenience. Any legal cause which is there in the project. So the project is not legally compliant. It's not environmental compliant. It has a legal issues. What the product you're going to make is going to have an environmental impact. So that's why that manufacturing product is not required to be made in this region at all. So there is a legal cause. So the idea is project is a temporary endeavor. It comes to an end in all these scenarios. Okay, in all these scenarios. Projects are temporary, but their deliverables may exist beyond the end of the project. This is a very simple thing. Projects are temporary. You make a project to construct a road. You finish in 2 years or 3 years or 1 year. But deliverable was what? Road. That exists beyond the end of the project. It is for next 20 years, 30 years. Projects may produce deliverables of a social, economic, material, or environmental nature. For example, a project to build a national monument will create a deliverable expected to last for centuries. And we all know there are many national monuments across all the countries in the world, which are there for many years, many decades, since many decades or many centuries. So the project is a temporary, but deliverables last for years and years to come. A project is, as we discussed in the previous slide, it adds a value to your organization. In terms, we do a project to increase our business value. So an organization with the help of projects can move to its future state with high business value, sustainable performance, correct, over a period of time. So the business value project is aimed at moving an organization from one state to another state in order to achieve a specific objective. We are manufacturing normal mobile phones, but you want to migrate to the smartphones. Or if I say another word, you want to move the next generation of smartphones where it is connected to many applications, many Internet of Things, many great features of coming time. So you will be adding a value to your product by adding a project. That project will be of research nature first, followed by a realization plan, project management plan, and ultimately realizing a plant for manufacturing of that next generation of mobile phones with high scale of applications. So that is called taking an organization to the next state, future state. Where you are today is your current state. You want to change for future, that will be your future state. So you will be taking help of project to build yourself, to make a sustainable state of your company or your organization in future. You will migrate to the future state, not doing business as usual. You are doing a business with business values and sustainable performance. And that's why this project will help you to go to a future state of the business with sustainable performance. How the projects are initiated, if you want to understand this concept, correct? Why do we should do a project, first of all? Okay, so these are the broadly the 4 items what you see right now. they become the project initiator. One is satisfy stakeholder request or needs. Your stakeholder wants something better now, or your product, what you're manufacturing, is having a demand and supply gap. Your demand is 1 million and you are able to supply only 80% of it. So you are not satisfying 20% of your stakeholders. So in that scenario, you have to increase your manufacturing. You have to increase your production. So that is called satisfying the stakeholders' request or needs. Create, improve, or fix products, process, or services. See, creating a new product is essential because that could improvisation, okay, or fixing a problem in your existing product. You might have heard sometime some vehicles may, when they are given to customer, they find some issues in that. So they call back those vehicles and they try to improvise that, correct? And they give it back to customer with that improvisation. So the improvisation or creating a new product, okay, or continuously repeating the same products or services, correct? So for this also, you need a project. Implement or change business or technological strategies. This is very important. This is what let you think your business for next 30 years and 40 years. The way you are doing business today may not continue as is for the next duration. You have to think beyond the timelines. And there are many examples available in the industry who did not thought of those technological and strategical changes over a period of time. They lost their existence in the market. So for that, you have to add a project to build an upgraded version, a strategic version of your products. Probably in that scenario, what you are producing today, you will not be producing no longer after 5 years. You will be producing completely new technology after 5 years. World has migrated from the camera, from that X-ray film camera to digital camera. So if you have forecasted that world is going to have digital camera, so you have to stop manufacturing slowly. Rather, you have to start making a plant or manufacturing processes for those digital cameras. Because that will be the strategy for the future. Technology advancement for the future. Basically, it helps in meeting the disruptions. And then meet regulatory, legal, or social requirement. That is another thing. If your plant required to meet the local compliances, national compliances, regulatory compliances, then you have to initiate a project. For health, safety, and environment reason, for carbon footprint reason, for environmental and pollution norms. So then you have to upgrade your plants or your services. And for that, you may need to express, you have to think of a project. So these are the things which will be required to initiate the project. And these are all things which